We're back here on the official Temple University Football Coaches Show, powered by Peerless Boilers. It's Peerless who builds America's best boilers. Temple's in action this Saturday, coming off a loss to USF. They'll play Memphis at the Link at noon Eastern time. You can listen to the game right here on Philly's #1 college radio station, WHIP, with coverage beginning at 11:30. Now joining us on the hotline is the head coach of your Temple Owls, and that's Coach Matt Rhule. Coach, thanks for a few minutes, and how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on, Zach.
Well, thank you for coming on. News broke yesterday, and you confirmed it in your press conference, that the future of the Owls, T.J. Simmons, who was a 4-star recruit, the highest-ranked recruit in program history, is no longer on the team. Why didn't things work out with T.J. Simmons?
Zach, at the end of the day, he's a great kid, and every kid that comes to college, they've got to figure out what's right for them. And this hasn't been right for him, and I think he wants to head home and go back to school in Florida. So, all of us, have to make a decision of where we want to live, and some guys come here and Philly's for them, and some guys it isn't.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move over to this game coming up on Saturday. It's a big game for your program, going up against one of the better teams in the conference, up against Memphis. And Memphis is a team that has only allowed 13 sacks this year. Your defensive line has produced 27 sacks. That battle in the trenches, you talk about it each and every week, even going back to your first year here as head coach. What does your defensive line need to do going up against a talented offensive line that Memphis has?
Well, they first have to stop the run. Memphis is a running team who thrives on play action, and so they don't want to sit there and be in drop back. They don't want to sit there and have to defend pass pro and get in passing situations. So we have to stop the run and try to force them into passing situations. And then when it is play action or when it is drop back pass, guys have to win. The Praise Martins, Hassan Reddicks, Nate D. Smiths. They've got to get to the quarterback and try to get Paxton Lynch off his mark.
Your secondary has struggled the last 2 weeks, allowing 40 points up against an SMU, and then that second quarter got ugly up against USF. I would expect Paxton Lynch to spread out the ball a little bit this week and go a little bit wide against you guys, as that's what they do with the way he's able to pass the football. What have you noticed out of your secondary in the last 2 games, and how are you trying to improve their play?
I think the issue last week was really the run game. I mean, they think of the 550 yards, I think we gave up 220 or whatever to Marlon Mack. I mean, so we have to stop the run. We have to defend it. We just have to play better at every position and just get back to playing the way we played early in the year. And I think our defense will do that. I think we have a really, really veteran, strong, solid defense, and they've hit a 2-game streak where they haven't played the way they want. And I think they just have to settle down, play the way that they know that they're capable of playing, and play great football.
Tyler always talks about how this is such a passionate group, and it's a group that always comes to compete each and every day. And you've said this before, they compete with everything, and the practices are very competitive. How is the confidence of your defense, though, right now after 2 weeks that weren't so great?
I think they're confident. I think they're resolute. They're a tough group of kids, and I think they're going to I think they're going to respond. The hardest part about when you don't play great defense is everyone keeps asking you about it. You find yourself talking about it, and the only thing you can really do is just go out and play. And that's the only thing they can do to make themselves feel better, is go out and play and do their job and play great defense. And I'm very, very, very certain that they will.
It's a tough matchup this week going up against Paxton Lynch. He's been sensational this year, 21 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. When you see him on the film and all the tape that you watch, what stands out to you about Paxton Lynch?
Well, we've had a chance to play him for this will be a 3rd year we've had a chance to play him. He's very talented, has a big-time arm, extremely smart, athletic, and they really do a nice job of utilizing him in their system. So he can make every throw, and he puts the team on his back when pressure situations come. They have great skill kids, and I think he's a future first-round quarterback.
The defense is very similar to last year, and you've even added some guys that were redshirted last year. Do you turn on the tape from last year's 16-13 game, or is it just a new season when it comes to going up against Paxton Lynch?
No, I think every year that we play a team that we play every year, we always go back and watch the tape and see what we did and see how we were attacked. Really over 2 years ago we beat them pretty convincingly down at Memphis. Last year was a great game that came down to the end. So we always try to get as much information as we can. We know that what happened in the past doesn't in any way affect the future, but you just try to watch the film and see how you were attacked and see what you can expect. And and try to go out and build off that when you put together your game plan.
Last year you went up against Penn State, you lost. This year you went up against Penn State, you won. Last year you went up against Cincinnati, you lost. This year you won the football game. What is it about your team when they get to see that team the following year?
Well, I don't know if it's as much as that or just, I think we're just a way better football team this year than we were last year. And, as you grow, as you develop, as you build a program, you just keep trying to take steps. And that's what our players are doing. They're taking steps. And so we weren't ready to beat Penn State last year. I thought, this year we were way more mature, way tougher, way more physical, and we're able to do it. And so, we've beaten Memphis before. And I thought Memphis actually took that step 2 years ago. We beat them 42-21 or whatever it was, and they took the step last year. We both came in with 5-3 records, and they won it on the last play of the game. So we're hoping that, our growth from last year to this year is enough to get us the win on Saturday.
I was reading some article today online that suggested the Browns should tank for the rest of the season and they should go out there and select Paxton Lynch. And Peter King was saying how he thinks Paxton Lynch would be a perfect fit for the Browns. You guys went up against a lot of very talented quarterbacks this year that have NFL aspirations. Is Paxton Lynch the best quarterback you'll face all season?
I don't know that yet, probably just because I haven't seen him live, and I think at the end of the day, you make your evaluation when you see a guy live. You see how he interacts, you see how he, how his team fights for him, you see how he plays, how he competes. I remember seeing Blake Bortles our first year here and being like, wow, that guy's going to be a special guy. And at the time, he wasn't the most, well-known quarterback even in the league. I think they've all been really talented. We faced a bunch of really, really good quarterbacks. Paxton's certainly in that group and is really highly acclaimed. But, I have a better idea for him once, of what he is this year after having seen him, and I expect him to be really good.
Matt Rhule joins us right now on the official Temple University Football Coaches Show, powered by Peerless Boilers. Peerless builds America's best boilers. You said yesterday that Kyle Friend won't play this weekend. Are we going to see him again this year? What's the latest on Friend's health?
Kyle's trying to get back, and I would expect to see him at some point, whether it's in the bowl game or next week. He won't play this week. He's fighting to get back. He's such a tough kid, and he's really what our program's all about. He's what everyone should talk about, is guys like him.
Kyle is such an integral part of your offensive line, and he's a leader. He's a very vocal guy as well, and you even talked about it yesterday in your press conference, how he's coaching, and he still won't even leave the facility with everything he's doing to still help this team win, even though he can't play on the field. How have you noticed the communication on your offensive line's been in Kyle's absence?
I thought it was significantly improved last week. USF has a great D-line. I think we gave up a pressure or two, but I thought McGowan did a really nice job making sure everyone was on the same page. The other seniors, Shabazz and Eric Lofton, I thought they stepped up. They made sure that we had all the, they made sure that we had all the calls made. And, I just thought there was real veteran leadership out there. So, you can never replace Kyle just because of all the things that he brings, not just his play, but everything else. But I think McGowan's a very veteran player, and he's played really well, and, he'll have a real role for us even once Kyle gets back.
This is a Memphis game where I think it's going to come down to the fourth quarter, and you said it all year long. You guys aren't a Baylor team. You want to get the game into the fourth quarter. A big key to get that game into the fourth quarter and to win this football game, I'd have to imagine a way to neutralize Lynch would have your offense go on some long drives that eat up clock and walk away with 7 instead of 3. Do you have confidence in your offense that they're going to be able to consistently produce these long offensive drives this week?
Yeah, I don't even worry about how long they are. I just want consistency. I want to play well. I want to score points. So I would much rather score on one play than 15 plays. But if you're not going to score on one play, I want to possess the ball. So we have a lot of guys out on offense, and I'm really confident in the guys that have come in. So I'm not sure that John Christopher can go. I'm not sure if Colin Thompson can go. I'm not sure if Kyle Friend can go. All those guys are out, but we have a lot of guys that we trust, and so. I just want to play really well on offense, play really well on defense, and if everyone just does their job and plays well, we've proven that we're a really special football team when that happens.
So if some of those guys can't go, who are some of the guys that you look to step up, and some of those guys that you're talking about that you do trust?
Well, Sal Major has really played well all year, and unfortunately, he got that targeting call last week, so he had to come out, and then Colin came out, and that really sort of affected us last week. Just from a game plan standpoint of what we could call without both of our tight ends out there. We know we'll have Sal this week because that penalty happened in the first half, and we expect Colin to maybe be able to go. But if he can't, Sal will step up. Sal will play really well, and we'll have to limit what we do package-wise. And then without John Christopher, the Sam Benjamins, the Brandon Shippens, those guys, they have to go out there and they have to play well for us so that we can throw the ball, on third down and just in the regular passing game.
Last one with Coach Rhule, who joins us right now on the official Temple University Football Coaches Show, powered by Peerless Boilers. Peerless builds America's best boilers. This has been a special group this year, and it's a group that has seen some of the more negative results in the win column in the past. And this year, they're starting to see that success, being 8-2 right now, controlling your own destiny to be in the conference championship game. And if you win that conference championship game, it could lead to a New Year's Six Bowl. Why do you have confidence that this team is going to get back onto a winning track coming off a loss up against USF?
Because everybody loses, there's only one or two undefeated teams every year, and so people handle adversity, it's just a true championship caliber program, a true championship caliber team handles adversity and they battle back. And since I've been here, Matt Ioannidis, Tyler Matakevich, Hershey Walton, Nate D. Smith, Tavon Young, Alex Wells, Will Hayes, I could keep going on, Brandon Sudnoff on offense, Lofton, Abdemed, Sal Major, Brandon Shippen, Robbie Anderson, John Christopher. All those guys have done is just battle through adversity, and they've done some special things. They went 2-10 their first year. They fought back last year 6-6, didn't make it to a bowl game. So what do? They come back this year. They beat Penn State first time in 74 years, and then they don't get complacent. They go back out the next week. They beat Cincinnati. At Cincinnati on the road, everything's against us. Got a bunch of really tough calls. They fought through one. All they've done is fought. And Alabama's not happy they lost to Ole Miss. We're not happy that we lost to USF. But you know what? These kids are fighters. They're tough guys. I'm so proud to be involved with them. I'm so proud to coach them every day. And if I have to bet on anything, Zach, I'm going to believe in them. I'm going to bet on them, and that's why I'm positive every day with them. That's why I take responsibility when we lose. That's why they take responsibility when we win, because they're winners. And the senior class, I refuse to believe, will not go out and fight. Now, if Memphis is better, we hold our head high, and we come back and try to win on senior day. But we are a really good football team, and we've won a lot of big-time games. We've got a lot of big-time players, and they will show up, and they will find a way to compete at their highest this Saturday.
Sometimes when you lose a game, you just got to take a deep breath and realize everything's going to be okay. And like you said, everyone's going to lose in college football. There's only a few teams that go on out there and go undefeated. You listed a lot of those accomplishments in this interview and yesterday in your press conference. What was the thought process of just reminding your guys about what they've done in the past leading up to this point?
Well, when they lose, all they hear about is what's wrong, right? And I want them to know what's right. I want them to see what they've done right. Because then when you're really honest with yourself, when you win, when you look at what you've done right and wrong, and when you lose, when you look at what you've done right and wrong, and then you can always just identify, okay, this is what I need to improve on, and fix it. And that's what I want them to do. I just want them to look and say, hey, this is what I did right, this is what I did wrong, fix it, and not start to attribute it to, well, it's because of this. And that's what I'm trying to remind them. Hey, you guys have done a lot of big time things, and this will be your biggest accomplishment, to come back off of this kind of ugly loss, man, and go out and play great football. And I'm just trying to remind them of who and what they are, because, in life people try to define us. They try to tell us, these guys have defined themselves with the way they've played. They've made themselves into a really good football team. And all they need to do is go out on Saturday and just be themselves, be the good football team that they are. If they do that, then they'll be proud of how they play.
Matt, best of luck on Saturday. We appreciate you giving us a few minutes this late in the season.
Okay, thanks, Zach.